And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? You hear me say it every day, but boy, have we got a great show for you today. You don't want to miss any single part of it. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. Now, I got a sneeze sitting out here in the back of my nose. I'm trying to force it off here. Anyway, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and then we'll do our segment, The Rest of the Story. It's a tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. And on today's special segment, we're going to have Sean LaFave with us. He's from calling in actually from Kansas, I guess it is, and he'll be talking to us about current events and healthcare and that kind of stuff on his series Geared for Wellness. I want you to know, though, that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 63 degrees, so it's going to, it's been a beautiful day today if you think about it. It's just, hotter than usual, but you know what we don't get? We don't get any of that bad humidity that seems to be going around where Sean's at in any event. You know what, now, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the news. I've encapsulated 10 items to let you know what's going on in the world today, and then we'll do a little bit more in-depth, and I think that's where we need to go. Here's the 10 things that you need to know for today, Thursday, and tomorrow for that matter. Your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today. And first up is what the Islamic State group would hope to gain from the Turkey airport attack. If it is behind the carnage, it would be in keeping with its accelerated tactic of exporting terror, apparently aimed at deflecting attention from mounting losses in Syria and Iraq. And leaders of Canada, Mexico, and the United States pushed back against isolationism. Obama, Trudeau, and Peña Nieto defended their calls for freer trade and warned against easy solutions peddled by demagogues. You know who he's aiming at there, sure you do. And Congress clears Puerto Rico rescue bill in a rare show of bipartisan unity. Holy mackerel, I didn't even think that existed anymore. The package aims at, to help the U.S. territory teetering on economic chaos with its $70 billion debt. And the EU leaders say that the UK must accept European workers or give up seamless single market. The 27 other EU nations set out a united strategy ahead of complex departure negotiations with Britain. And how much time American adults are spending using media each day. You know, an average of 10 hours, 39 minutes each day on smartphones, tablets, TV, radio, computers, and video games, according to a Nielsen study, an hour more than last year. Well, it seems to be that's what technology is doing to us, I think. And let's talk about McConnell's task of shielding the GOP senators from the Trump upheaval. The Senate Majority Leader's strategy includes setting up votes on issues that will help vulnerable incumbents and pushing for an independent super PAC focused on Senate Republicans. Then, whose research has key to the Supreme Court ruling affirming abortion rights? A University of Texas team produced research so prolific in their scrutiny of women's health laws that a state health official lost his job for collaborating with them. And why there is hope for mothers fed up with loud, cumbersome breast pumps. A growing number of startups are trying to come up with designs that use soft silicone parts or keeping their noise level down to make it easier for mothers to work and pump simultaneously. And Franklin qualify for the Rio at the U.S. swimming trials. Phelps is heading to his 5th Olympics after winning the 200-meter butterfly, while Franklin bounced back from disappointment with a second-place finish in the 200-meter freestyle. And then finally, Miss Teen USA drops the swimsuit portion of its competition. Now I'm depressed, right? The pageant will replace the bathing suit section with an athletic wear competition. You know what? I suppose that they get money for that kind of stuff. That's where it's got to really be. Anyway, let's do a little bit more in-depth work here on the news. A Turkish official says attackers were from Russia and Central Asia. As the death toll from the Istanbul airport attack rose today to 44, a senior Turkish official said that the 3 suicide bombers who carried it out were from Russia, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan, and police raided neighborhoods for suspects linked to the Islamic State group. Turkish authorities have said all information suggested the Tuesday night attack on Ataturk Airport, one of the world's busiest, was the work of IS, which boasted this week of having cells in Turkey, among other countries. The police raided 16 locations in 3 neighborhoods on both the Asian and European sides of Istanbul, rounding up 13 people suspected of having links to the Islamic State group. There was no immediate claim of responsibility by the militant group, which has used Turkey as a crossing point to establish itself in neighboring Syria and Iraq. Now, IS has repeatedly threatened Turkey in its propaganda publications, and the NATO member has blamed IS for several major bombings in the past year in both Ankara and Istanbul. You know what? You know what? Don't you just get tired of it? Yeah. And I mean, it's serious. It's not something you can ignore, but don't you just get tired of it? You know what? Or maybe frustrated would be the better word. Well, the Pentagon ends the ban on transgender troops in the military. Saying it's the right thing to do, Defense Secretary Ash Carter announced today that transgender people will be allowed to serve openly in the United States military, ending one of the last bans on service in the armed forces. Americans who want to serve and can meet our standards should be afforded the opportunity to compete to do so, said Carter, laying out a 1-year plan to implement the change. Our mission is to defend this country, and we don't want barriers unrelated to the person's qualification to serve preventing us from recruiting or retaining the soldier, sailor, or airman, or Marine for that matter, who can best accomplish the mission. Under the new policy, by October the 1st, transgender troops already serving should be able to receive medical care and begin formally changing their gender identifications in the Pentagon's personnel system. And a year from now, the military services will begin allowing transgender individuals to enlist as long as they meet required standards and have been stable in their identified genders for at least 18 months. Well, that's a big step forward, I would say. Now, here's one for you. Boris bows out. The UK is in shock as Johnson drops leadership bid in a real-life political drama mixing Shakespearean tragedy with House of Cards. Britain's victorious anti-EU campaigner Boris Johnson saw his chances of leading his country evaporate today after the defection of a key ally. The former London mayor dropped his campaign to become Conservative Party leader and Prime Minister after Justice Secretary Michael Gove abruptly withdrew his support for Johnson and announced that he would run himself. Well, there you go. Now you know. It takes all kinds. It's a good thing. I don't like Boris anyhow, and just the way it is. Let's talk about the Obama legacy when we come back from our brief break. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. And right now we're going to talk about the Obama legacy. Immigration stands as most glaring failure. You know, hours after the Supreme Court sent its immigration policy into legal limbo, President Barack Obama huddled around a long conference table in the Roosevelt Room with disappointed activists. The president looked out at familiar faces, some teary. It had been a long and tough fight, Obama said, and he had taken some beatings, even from supporters who whooped on me good. He believed his policies would prevail, according to participants in the meeting, but said it was now up to voters and the next president to take up the baton. And with that, Obama delivered his version of a concession speech on a fight that has frustrated him like few others, roiled the campaign to replace him, and is certain to test his successor. When Obama leaves office in January, immigration overhaul will stand as the most glaring failure in his 7.5-year effort to enact vision of social change. Despite two campaigns full of promises and multiple strategies, Obama imposed only incremental, largely temporary changes on the immigration system. He leaves behind an outdated and overwhelmed system with some 11 million people living in the United States illegally. Yeah, well, you can try, but you know what? Executive authority doesn't really do it all for you, I don't think. Not hardly, anyway, I don't think. Well, how about this? Hope and fear as a combative president takes over the Philippines. You know, Rodrigo Duterte, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, was sworn in today as president of the Philippines, with many hoping his maverick style will energize the country, but others fearing he could undercut one of Asia's liveliest democracies amid his threats to kill criminals in mass. The 71-year-old former prosecutor and longtime mayor of southern Davao City won a resounding victory in May's elections in his first foray into national politics. He has described himself as the country's first leftist president and said his foreign policy will not be dependent on the United States, a longtime ally. The frugal noontime ceremony at Malacanan, the Spanish colonial-era presidential palace by Manila's murky Pasig River, was a break from tradition sought by Duterte, to press the need for austerity and the country's grinding poverty. In the past, the oath-taking has mostly been held at a grandstand in a historic park by Manila Bay, followed by a grand reception. Vice President Leni Robredo, a human rights lawyer who comes from a rival political party, was sworn in earlier in the separate ceremony in her office compound. Vice presidents are separately elected in the Philippines, and in a sign of Duterte's go-it-alone style, he has not met her since the May 9th vote. Go figure. You know what? Sometimes, don't you think sometimes right here in the United States it would be pretty good to vote for the vice president separately too? Might keep things a little more interesting. Sort of like the lieutenant governor for the state of California, against the governor. Well, Clinton and Lynch met privately at a Phoenix airport. Former President Bill Clinton spoke with Attorney General Loretta Lynch during an impromptu meeting in Phoenix, but Lynch said the discussion did not involve the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email use as Secretary of State. Lynch told reporters that the meeting at a Phoenix airport on Monday was unplanned and happened while the former president was waiting to depart and walked over to the Attorney General's plane after she landed there. Lynch was traveling with her husband and said her conversation with the former president was a great deal about his grandchildren and their travels. The former president, who recently became a grandfather for the second time, told her that he had been playing golf in Arizona, and they discussed former Attorney General Janet Reno, whom they both know. There was no discussion of any matter pending for the department or any matter pending for any other body. There was no discussion of Benghazi, no discussion of the State Department emails. By way of example, Lynch said in Phoenix. Well, there you go. So why did that make the news? I don't know. Who cares? But, it's one grandfather boasting. Well, you know what? I care. I understand that. Well, amid crisis, support grows for Puerto Rico statehood. Porfirio Guerrero has grown increasingly frustrated as a decade-long recession has sapped business from his tailor shop in the Puerto Rican capital. He now feels the only way for the island to recover is to become a full-fledged part of the United States, a sentiment that is gaining force in the territory. Puerto Ricans have been divided for decades on whether to remain a semi-autonomous commonwealth, push for statehood, or break away entirely from the United States. The island's economic crisis, including a $70 billion debt and looming default, have pushed many like Guerrero towards statehood. Can't you see the devastation around here? He says, gesturing at struggling and shuttered shops that make up the once thriving business district of Rio Piedras, it would depress anyone. We need statehood. The feeling has been reinforced by Congress's approval on Wednesday of a measure meant to help the island out of its deep economic malaise. The bill, which President Barack Obama signed today, allows Puerto Rico to restructure some of its debt as U.S. cities and counties can. It also creates a board appointed by Congress and the White House that will oversee the debt restructuring process in Puerto Rico's finances, including requiring the island to have balanced budgets. Now, don't go away. We've got a short commercial break to take. And I mean, it's a short one, folks, so don't go away. When we come back, we're going to do the IRS loses. And the first case up is failure to pay taxes was not willful. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We've got a great show for you.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. We got a couple of good cases here for you. So you know what? Let's get right to them. The first case up is the IRS loses. Failure to pay taxes was not willful. A business owner who owed back taxes declared bankruptcy, but the IRS said that his non-payment was willful because he had improved his home and bought a luxury car while his tax bill mounted. So it could not be discharged. He went to court for a little bit of justice. This is what the judge said. The individual had income more than $1 million and owned $5 million of stock in margin when the stock market crash took place. And the recession suddenly wiped out his stocks and cut his business income by 75%. He had committed to the personal expenditures earlier and had mistakenly believed he could deduct his stock losses to offset his tax bill. There was no evidence of any wrongful attempt to avoid the taxes, so they are dischargeable. You know what? It's just the IRS trying to throw a monkey wrench where they know that they shouldn't. Here's another case the IRS lost. Must pay for delaying a refund. Here's the case. Dino Crescente entered an installment agreement with the IRS to pay taxes owed by a business that he had purchased and abided by the agreement. But the IRS seized a $17,000 refund owed to him anyhow. Now, Crescente went to court to get a refund, and the IRS then paid it. Crescente then asked to have the IRS pay his legal fees. Now, here's the IRS answer. The award isn't justified because it had never rejected the refund claim and, in fact, paid it soon after the court filing. But this is what the judge said, wise man. The IRS sat on that refund for 2 years, giving, checks in the mail excuses, and it seemed no coincidence that the refund was granted only after the court filing, legal fees are awarded. Yeah, and they're big, by the way. Let me give you this one. The IRS concedes. Now, you hear me say this every time I give you a case like this. They only concede when they're pretty sure that they can't prevail in court, and that's what's really going on here. In this case, a company owner can make restorative payments to a retirement plan. Here's the case. An individual owned one company with two retirement plans in which he was the sole participant in another company that he had many employees in its retirement plan. So here's the snag. The trustee of the latter plan embezzled a large amount from it, and federal regulators said that the owner was a fiduciary of the depleted plan, so could face legal action as a result. So here's the remedy. To avoid government lawsuits, the owner proposed to transfer the assets to his own two retirement plans to the depleted plan as the restorative payment. The IRS ruling, the payment is permitted and will not be a contribution to the employee's plan, which would affect its status or their taxes. It is a taxable distribution, but he also gets an offsetting business deduction for it. Now, that just makes sense. Now, if they'd have gone to court, folks, they'd have lost that. No question about it. Now, you heard me talk about many times being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. I just kind of think of it as the Twilight Zone. Okay, so here we are. Now, these are not tax court cases, but, it is a precedent that the IRS has agreed to. It's actually documented, so you can actually go to it anytime that you choose. Here's the first deal. A poorly executed estate plan is targeted by the IRS, and so this is something for you to be careful about. A cautionary tale, by the way. Professional advice was obtained in an effort to save estate tax, and as a result, a family limited partnership, or an FLP, was actually formed. Now, the big problem here, real property was not transferred into the FLP until 2 days before the taxpayer actually died. The IRS contended that the decedent had retained the current economic benefit of the assets transferred to the trust, and so the value of the real estate and other assets of the family limited partnership were therefore included in her taxable estate. So the best defense when setting up your own family limited partnership is make sure that it is established for a legitimate and significant non-tax reason. Then follow all the applicable rules for making sure that the integrity of the family limited partnership will be respected by the IRS. Now, let me give you one more before we take our commercial break. This is beware of legal advice from sellers of tax shelters. Man, I can't say this enough. A lawyer in Louisiana was held responsible for his part in promoting a tax shelter investments that he knew, or at least he should have known, were illegal. The lawyer engaged in wire and mail fraud as part of a scheme to generate exorbitant fees by selling phony tax shelters. The defrauded investors paid more than $1 million in fees for the privilege of investing in the illegal tax shelter. So here's the deal. As self-defense, do not trust the advice of a lawyer who also stands to profit from the investment. Seek independent counsel not associated with the transaction. That is the only way you're going to stay safe. Trust me. You never want to have somebody who's going to profit from the transaction selling you that transaction. Now, do not go away, because waiting in the wings, nestled somewhere in Wichita, Kansas, I believe, is our own Sean LaFave, and he'll be with us right after these commercial messages. We're going to talk about healthcare, current events, God only knows what, and we'll talk about his ribs from last Tuesday to see how they turned out. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Sean LaFave.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 94 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 97 on its way to 63. And I want to tell you, you talk about a dumb, ignorant 71-year-old man. I went out walking in this thing. I walked 8 miles, and I not only sweated my butt off, I've got blisters on both feet. But I can tell you, the guy we're going to listen to now, he hasn't got blisters anywhere except maybe, well, no, I won't even say that. The guy we're talking to right now has no blisters at all. Hey, Sean, are you out there?
I am, Robert. How you doing?
You know what? I did a stupid thing. I went for my daily walk. Normally, I go for a 6-mile walk. Somehow today it wound up being 8 miles. It was 97 degrees outside. It was just stupid. I could really feel it when I got back. And not only did I feel the effects of all that heat and the sweat and everything else, but I got 2 blisters, one on each foot, and I am miserable.
Well, I actually, believe it or not, I can relate because I'm recovering from blisters. I still have kind of the sensitive exposed skin. It's toughening up now, but so you can see where the blisters were, and I actually had 4 of them on my feet, 2 on each foot.
So let me ask you, I have a tendency now when I get off the show, I haven't had time since I got back from the walk, but when I get off the show, my idea is I'm going to go find a needle and I'm going to puncture those things. Do you do that, or do you advise against it?
Yeah, if it doesn't break on its own, mine usually end up breaking on their own, but yeah, I'll stab with a needle. I don't like that all that fluid build up in there. And I'm sure it has a purpose, but I prefer to stab it with a needle and let it drain. I feel like it heals up better that way.
Yeah, and you know what? And it seems to relieve some of the pain from walking, and it toughens the skin up a little faster, I think.
I think so too. I much prefer, for me, I'm usually barefoot, so if I get a blister on my foot, it's gonna rip open on its own anyway, because I'm usually running around with no shoes whenever I get the chance, which is actually how I got the blisters. I was out not last weekend, but the weekend before, out at my buddy's place. And he lives at this airport. It's amazing, this airport community they've got. And he has a basketball court there, or not a basketball court, but a basketball net out by his hangar. And he was having a party, and the guy in the hangar across from him was having a party, and there was a whole bunch of people, and we ended up doing a little pickup 3-on-3 game, me and my buddy and a friend's teenage son, against these 3 teenagers, and it's white concrete. It's like, brushed, so and for whatever reason, I decided that playing a game of basketball with no shoes on was a good idea.
Well, you know what? You're not as old as me, but you're as dumb as me. Anyway,
I'm for sure.
I think my problem is that I think I got a bad pair of sweat socks, and I think that what happened was they weren't cushioned like they normally were. And I think that's what caused the problem, just that rubbing on my shoe as I was walking. Anyway, what's more interesting...
Just for you, and also just a kind of a public service announcement for everyone listening, the best socks I've ever worn are... the brand is actually called Smart Wool, and they are, of course, a wool sock, and they're soft, and they prevent blisters, and just something they come with all the benefits of wool, but they're soft like a cotton sock. And Smart Wool, best socks I've ever worn. They're not cheap, but they are super, super nice. They last a long time.
When it comes to getting blisters, you don't want cheap. I'll tell you, I think that's what happened to me. Normally I buy my own socks, and I buy nice ones, good ones. But I think this time my wife got me some inexpensive sweat socks, and I know why they were inexpensive now, because tomorrow they're all going to get thrown into the trash.
Yeah. Cheap socks are one of those things you just don't want to skimp on. There's a lot of things you can skimp on when it comes to clothes, and socks are just one of them. I like to get good socks.
Well, before I ask you about your mother, I want to ask you about the ribs you had on Tuesday. Were they just fantastic, and did you share them with anybody else?
Well, of course I shared them, and they were absolutely fantastic. Yeah, they turned out just perfect, nice and juicy, and half of them got. I just kind of like a dry rub, like even just like it was. I think all I did was put on there was salt and pepper and garlic, and then on one rack of ribs, and the other rack got some barbecue sauce, because I know some people like the sweeter barbecue sauce. I'm not a big sweet guy, especially when it comes to grilling.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that about you.
What it is I'm sweet enough as it is. So I think anything that's sweet is just it's going to make me so sweet that you wouldn't be able to put
Well, the thing is, if you use that dry rub, it's going to wind up being very moist and wonderful because of the fat that permeates through there anyway. So, I mean, it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And another reason, too, and this definitely kind of factors into how I like to cook my food. But when you're grilling, actually the last thing you want to put, especially if it's a fatty food like ribs, which most of the time when people grill, I guess you can grill, like just chicken and stuff, but I always have the skin on. But the last thing you actually want to put on your meat that's fatty when you're grilling is anything with sugar in it, because what happens is as you're grilling it, the high heat from the grill, the fat and the sugar together produce a product called advanced glycation end products.
Easy for you to say.
What's that?
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, it is, because I practiced a lot. But they call it AGES for short, and it's actually and it does exactly as it says. It actually ages you. It's a very oxidative stress, and it comes with a lot of downsides for your health. Tastes great, but the grilling with all that sweet barbecue, because the barbecue sauce, after I was done grilling them, then the barbecue sauce went on them. But yeah, grilling it with the barbecue sauce on there, that sweet sugary barbecue sauce actually produces the advanced glycation end product.
So is that what I would be calling caramelization?
Yeah. When you're caramelizing something, it's going to as long as if you can caramelize stuff that's just sugar, and I don't believe it produces the ages. But when you have fat and sugar together, that's when you're getting the advanced glycation end products.
So you had a wonderful. Listen, was it just the two of you, or did you have guests for dinner that night?
No, there was a group of us. Yeah.
And you only had 2 racks of ribs. I could eat a rack by myself.
Oh yeah. No, they were pretty big rack of ribs. But I think there was 6 of us or something like that. I think there was 6 of us. But we had other stuff as well. But yeah,
sounds fantastic. Now before we
I cooked some chicken as well.
Oh, then you had plenty of food. Now, what did you serve as on the side with that, or did you just have the meat?
Mashed potatoes, actually. I love making, this is my favorite way to make mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. I like to, of course, boil the potato like you would normally make it, and I leave the skin on. I like it with the skin on. Mm-hmm. But I'll also boil, just until it's nice and a little bit tender, an entire head of cauliflower. And then I mash the cauliflower in with the potatoes. And so it of course, it gives you all the benefits of eating cauliflower. It gives it more fiber. It's, reduces the caloric value of it. But, so it makes it a little bit healthier. But really, if I served that to someone and they didn't know, they wouldn't even be able to tell, especially when you put, salt and butter and garlic in there, and it just tastes fantastic.
Oh yeah, but you're not doing it because they can't tell. The truth is you're doing it because you like the result, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. I think it tastes fantastic.
I'll give you another.
And it's a healthier option as well.
Yeah, I'll give you another secret, but it's not as healthy as that. I will saute almost translucent onions, and then after I've got my mashed potatoes all ready to whip, I'll toss those sauteed onions into the mashed potatoes and stir them in there, and you don't even see the mashed potatoes. It just kind of colors the mashed potatoes a little bit, but you don't even see it. But it gives this magnificent flavor to the mashed potatoes. It's fantastic, and you could do it even if you're using the cauliflower.
Yeah, and I usually, and for whatever reason, this last batch I forgot to do it, but I will usually do that. Take an onion and chop up an onion, and like you say, just saute it a little bit, just soften it up, and I'll mix those in with it too. And oh man, it makes the flavor just amazing.
Okay, so I need to get an update on your mom.
Yep, she's doing well. In fact, she texted me to let me know that her back was hurting, so she's going to go ahead and lay down and take a nap, and so she'll have to listen to the recorded show later. She should be asleep right now. But that's the thing, I guess, with when they do the surgery, is of course they split the breastplate right in half, and then they just open your chest wide open so they can get their hands in there.
Yeah.
And the hardest part, the recovery really, that most people, and I didn't really thought about this before, until, she was, talking about how much her back hurt, and the nurse was there. So yeah, that's the most common thing is, you're putting all that stress on everything, the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, all those joints where the ribs go into the spine, and I guess the back pain they say it takes about a good 8 weeks for that
well, I believe it. I mean, have you ever seen the separator that they use for that when they open up the chest? They put this little gizmo in there, and it's almost like a tire jack, but it's more sophisticated, and they just crank this thing open and they open up your rib cage, and I'm going to tell you, that's got to put a lot of pressure on your back and the muscles and everything else, but they got to get in there, right?
Yeah, they got to get in there. Yeah, it's just she said she goes, it's a good thing that they didn't tell me beforehand what exactly this entailed. I guess she had never really thought about it or researched it, what heart surgery was like, and she says, if I'd have known that they were going to do that, she goes, I probably would have told them, forget it. I would have just said, how long do I have to live? I said, Mom, you wouldn't be living at all. I said, you would be sitting down doing nothing for the rest of your life, however long that might have been. I said, you, first of all, wouldn't have lived very long, but second, it would have been a miserable way to exist.
And now she gets quality of life as a result of this surgery.
Yeah. So she's gonna have quality of life now. She'll have more energy. She'll be able to, get around better. And of course, she's definitely, talking. She's going, I need to make some changes, and hopefully this will really, spur on some positive lifestyle changes. It's, will help make a difference. And so that, not only will she live longer, but also have a better quality of life because of this second chance, having a new heart valve and really, making some better choices.
Well, that's fantastic. Listen, so tell me, what is the weather like in Wichita today?
It's horrible. It's 92 degrees right now.
And humid.
And yeah, it's not super humid, but it's definitely humid. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow, which is kind of nice. It's only supposed to get to 70, like upper 70s, like 76, 78, something like that tomorrow.
But that's going to make the humidity even worse, right?
Yeah, the humidity will be worse. But, when it rains, it's actually kind of nice out here. It cools everything down, and it's pretty bearable. When it's, when it's less than 80 degrees and there's humidity, I can deal with it. It's when you get up to like this temperature right now, 90. Like people who live in the South, and they deal with that high humidity. I just don't know how they deal with it. There's certain parts of this country that I could never live, and the South is one of those areas just because of that heat and humidity.
Well, I've got to tell you a story. Years ago, when I was with the Revlon Corporation, I had a meeting in Houston, but I got there at night. When I flew in, I'd flown in from Dallas, and then so I flew in a pair of Levi's and a polo shirt, and I was in tennis shoes. I was comfortable, right? So I landed and went straight to the hotel, and I got comfortable, did the whole 9 yards. I checked in with the people I was supposed to meet the next day. The salesman that I was working with there was going to meet me for breakfast in the hotel that morning, which was fine. And so I get up that morning, I go down, I go into breakfast, and he's there, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, boy, you know what? I'm not too impressed with this guy. Now I'm there in a power suit, a 3-piece power suit, and I mean I'm dressed to the nines, right? And I'm looking at him and I'm saying, you're dressed a little bit casual, aren't you? And he says, well, this time of year we do dress a little casual out here. It's pretty humid, kind of hot. It's sticky, and I says, oh really? I says, I didn't notice any of that. I said, how far away is the meeting that we're going to go to? And he says, 3 blocks. He says, it'll take us no time at all. Parking right there. I said, what do you mean parking? 3 blocks? We can walk 3 blocks. He says, are you sure? Yeah. I said, are you kidding me? 3 blocks? I want to tell you, by the time I had gone the 3 blocks, you already know where this is going, right? I have stripped off my coat, my vest, and my tie, and I'm dying. And by the time I got to this guy's office, I was wringing wet with perspiration, soaking through everything that it could soak through. That's the first time I ever experienced that kind of humidity.
Yeah, you're right. It only takes a few minutes, and boom, and I'm one of these people that I sweat a lot. Mm-hmm. I can eat something spicy and the sweat machine turns on. Especially if it's hot outside. Oh my gosh, that's people. I get people all the time. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just one of these people that just sweats a lot." But yeah, I'm down in the South. Exact same thing. You go outside and you're just like it's just constantly drenched and you're sticky and yeah. But I could imagine these.
Oh man. I thought I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Man, unbelievable. So listen, we've got 8 minutes before we have to take a break. What are we going to be talking about today?
Gosh, I don't really have anything on the agenda. You didn't send me any emails either, so I figured we could talk about what's going on with it seems like the meat is. I don't know if people are just kind of tired of it or what, but the election thing, people are, everyone just hates everybody, and that's kind of the general consensus is nobody likes Hillary Clinton, nobody likes Donald Trump, and it seems like people are just tired of it, so they don't talk about it. Isn't
it interesting that nobody likes Hillary Clinton, nobody likes Donald Trump, and they're the only 2 choices we have?
Yeah, I know. How is that possible? It blows my mind. The whole thing with, Hillary. I mean, I get like Donald Trump. Okay, like, I understand why people don't like him. It's more of an issue of they just don't agree with him. But Hillary is. For the life of me, the more I learn about her, the more I go, I don't understand how people could support her, even if you do like her. I mean, I'm not saying I dislike everything about her policies or what she would put in place. I don't disagree with her 100% on all those things. There's a lot of things I don't like, but just her track record of just sheer dishonesty and manipulation and on and on.
I got to tell you, I mean,
how people can continue to support her. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know who to believe anymore, but I can tell you this much: I'm not supporting as stringently as I was, but I'm still supporting Donald Trump. I want change in Washington D.C. I want change in this country. I've got a problem with the bigotry and the prejudice, and I have a problem with what I feel is that he doesn't think before he talks sometimes. But you know what? Most of what he is saying really strikes home for me. We cannot continue as usual in this country. We have got to make some major changes to not make America great again, because America still is great, but we've got to take it back to where it was before, when America was everybody's dream. Was America. And you know what? The fact that we don't have fairness in trade, hell, we don't have any fairness in trade whatsoever. There's a lot of what Trump says, whether you want to hear it or not, it's really the kind of way you feel. And when he says, you know what, you can say whatever you want to say, but when people in Turkey, 50 people died or 44 people died and 250 people were injured and they're in the hospital, we don't know what the death toll is going to go to. And when people in San Bernardino are dying, when people all over the country are dying. You know what? You're telling me it's business as usual? You know it's an eye for an eye. Why should you treat these people any differently than they're treating us? I have to say I agree with that.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you on that one. And that's the part that I just don't get is, people are saying, well, you can't blame all of Islam, which I thought was really funny. I tell you, the left must just be, their heads must still be spinning trying to figure out which direction to go with this Orlando thing, because, of course, they're pro-gay marriage, which is fine. I mean, I'm not against gay marriage either, but they're very much the champions for the gay community. But all of a sudden, we got a guy who is a left liberal Muslim terrorist that goes and kills 49 people in a gay bar.
Yeah.
It's like
a gay bar that
these are two people that are diametrically opposed lifestyles that you are supporting. You're trying to promote both of their lifestyles, and there's a stark contrast.
But Sean, this is a gay bar that this guy used to partake in.
Yeah.
I know. This is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff. You know what?
Well, I don't know. Did they say? When I heard that he had gone to this bar, I just assumed that he was there just to kind of maybe on more of a recon type deal. That it was. Did I say that he used to go there for fun?
Well, I mean, here's the deal. I mean, and he was married and all those things. But here's the deal. And I think it was maybe AC/DC. Here's the thing. If you're going to go and you're just going to scope out a place that you're thinking about terrorizing, well, you go there once. You might go there twice, right? He also went to downtown Disney and he scoped that out too, right? A couple times. But if you're going to a gay bar to scope it out to see what's the best time and places and to create this terror, you don't ever become what they refer to as a regular, and they were referring to him as a regular.
Interesting.
They don't see.
I knew he'd gone there, but I didn't. I just assumed it was he went there a few times, maybe to figure out the lay of the land and when the busy times were or whatever. But I didn't know that he was actually considered a regular. That's interesting.
Yeah, I find even more interesting, and I think, and God, I want to be careful what I say here because it's just it's a comment that I'm going to make that I'm not even sure is true, but it does seem that different. What's the word I want to use? Cultures handle male-female relationships differently. In some cultures, while a matter of fact, while the sultans had a harem of wives, there were a few kids in there too, or men in there as well. You just don't know what's going on in that culture, and so you think in terms of this guy being married and he's got a child, but that doesn't mean that that's the only sexual preferences that he has.
Yeah. It's an interesting culture, and I know that it differs from country to country, in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely they and I've heard everything from, men, especially up until you're married anyway, that men can do whatever they want with each other for pleasure. And I know that if I was in the right group, I'm sure I'd probably be getting all kinds of, corrections coming my way if I posted something like this on Facebook or whatever. But, you have heard the cultures where, the men will, are for pleasure until you get married, and the women are for reproduction. And that's a very standard, general, well, not standard, but I mean a very general statement that I'm sure doesn't apply to most regions. But
you do hear about it, and you are exposed to it, even if it's entertainingly wise. To most of the time, it's those people in the Middle East that are that way. And you hear about those things. It's just weird stuff. Listen, we are going to take a break. And we're about 30 seconds, out of doing that. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about something that's going on. The United States Congress today approved some financial aid for San Juan, or for Puerto Rico. I was going to say San Juan, but for the whole island of Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico would like to either become a state or be completely independent of the United States. Of course, they can't be independent if they need us to help them with money. But apparently, Congress is considering this, and I wanted to have that discussion with you when we come back. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave, and I was going to say the Geared for Wellness corner, but you know what? I think knowledge also gears you for wellness. So we'll be right back with Sean after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking to our own Sean LaFave, who's calling us from Wichita, Kansas. And Sean, before we went on our break, I was talking to you about Puerto Rico. And, I mean, what do you think about Puerto Rico becoming a state? I mean, they've got a $70 billion debt that the United States is helping them with. They're a territory of the United States and have been for many, many years. What do you think about, and they're having some economic problems there as well, obviously. What do you think about them becoming a state, and should they become a state if they already have economic problems? Aren't they going to add to our own problems?
You know, I'm absolutely fine with them becoming a state. I think it would be, you know, probably it wouldn't be a bad thing at all. I mean, gosh, that's the location of Puerto Rico. You know, we would, I would think, want to retain Puerto Rico as much as possible, and making it a state is going to ensure that Puerto Rico stays ours as opposed to just keeping it as a territory. When we look at what happened with Cuba, and we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. You know, I mean, these guys are in financial trouble. When someone's in financial trouble, they're going to take help from whoever they can get help from. If someone comes in and starts making big promises.
Yeah, so that's what Castro did. That's what Castro did with Khrushchev. Remember? Yeah.
And so, you know, I know it's $70 billion, but I mean, I hate to say it's almost a drop in the bucket. It's more than a drop, but it's a splash compared to our issues. And you know, right now all they need is a little over $1 million in order to not default on a bunch of their loans, and you know, or just over $1 billion. I don't know if I said million, I meant over $1 billion. And you know, for the United States, you know, over $1 billion. I mean, $1 billion is what that's like. That's literally nothing.
Not only that, but I'm wondering what statehood would do to help their economy. You know, I mean, the United States citizens have free access to Puerto Rico now. They can go as often as they want. They can go shopping there. They can vacation there. I've been there a number of times myself, my wife and I. It's a great place. It's a beautiful place. Well, when I say I've been there, I've been to San Juan, and so San Juan is a magnificent city. It's terrific. When we were there, it was a bustling city, but now apparently they are having some difficulties. I'm not sure what statehood does to help them economically.
I don't. You know, you think that having a degree in economics that I would be able to answer that question, but my economics degree was more focused on people than on government. But I would assume it would help them the same way we help any of the states that we have in our country now. You know, they're gonna be entitled to federal money. You know, and the money that they're bringing in themselves, you know, is going to be considered state money at that point. So, yeah, I could only imagine that it would.
Certainly, they are paying taxes. Being a territory of the United States, they are paying taxes to the federal government. The only difference is that, you know, when a state pays taxes, like the state of California pays taxes into the federal government, Arizona does, all the states do, and then they are divvied back a certain portion of it. Now, the state of California does not get back as much as they put in. On the other hand, a state like Montana gets back more than they put in, because that's how the federal government levels the playing field to economically help these states. I'm wondering then, if you take on a new state, the state of Puerto Rico, you know, and they are already paying taxes. I'm pretty sure that it may very well increase their tax base. I'm not sure, but then they might get back more than they're actually paying in on the federal level in services that they don't get now, and that might be what helps them.
Yeah, and that would make sense. You know, that's I don't know, you know, the details of you know, I know a little bit that I did see. You know, they even made the statement that, you know, we could shut our government down and we still wouldn't have enough money. You know, we just flat out don't have the money. So I mean, they clearly need financial aid somehow. Maybe they're just going to have to default. I can't imagine that the United States is just going to sit by and go, hey, screw you. You put yourself in this mess. Deal with it, because when someone's in a state like that, or a country's in a state like that, that just leaves so much room for someone else to come in and go, hey, we'll help you.
Oh yeah, and I honestly think that statehood. I mean, that provides even more protection from the United States. It also protects, as far as the government's concerned, it lowers their government costs, because all of a sudden they're part of the United States government. They wind up sending 2 senators, and depending on their population, I don't know how many representatives for the House of Representatives, but certainly 2 senators will wind up over there. And the United States Congress then is the government for Puerto Rico. Other than they'll have a state house, but they won't have the federal issues that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I'm curious how it's going to unfold, because there's definitely a problem there, but how it's, and it's funny because it seems to be another divisive issue with our country, and I'm not sure why. I get it. We don't want to keep shelling out money to other countries, but they are a territory. We have a vested interest in them. I think that it's in our best interest to financially help them right now. Our country's able to do it. We're a very wealthy country, and so I think that we should. And I know a lot of people are against it, but I'm really curious how this is going to play out.
Yeah. It's just it's an interesting kind of a deal that's going on there. It'll be interesting to watch, but it seems to me that I've heard that premise before, that they were thinking about making Puerto Rico a state, but then that opens up an awful lot of other places. Do they want to be a state too? I remember when we made Alaska and Hawaii states, and it seems to me that actually happened in a real close proximity to each other. I think almost in the same year that I think Hawaii and Alaska became states. Way back in, I think it was in the 50s. I remember when it happened. So.
And why not? I mean, we got, we can do Puerto Rico. I don't see why not. The hardest part is going to be changing the flags. Yeah.
Well, no, that'll just become a state flag.
Well, no, we got to add a star to the.
Oh yeah.
Our flag. Yeah.
That's why they almost have to add more than one, right?
Say again.
They almost have to add more than one.
Why is that?
To make it easier to reconfigure the stars.
Oh yeah, I know, because the odd number of them already is the longer rows, right? I think.
Yeah.
But there's more longer rows than there are short rows. It'd be easy if there was more short rows. You could just swap one of those for a long. But you're right. For symmetry, that was my thought. Was how are they going to make that symmetrical with the 50 stars? Or 51 stars. I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah. So maybe we just need to make Guam a state at the same time. That way, make it a lot easier for the designer of the new star pattern.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the heck goes on. And I have no idea, to be honest with you. So, who knows what's gonna go on there? I can tell you that Trump he's talking trade at a shuttered New Hampshire factory, and he's saying, hey, you know what? He's talking about what we should be talking about. When they start talking about the TPP and they start talking about NAFTA and they talk about these things, all these things where we got screwed and they didn't even provide a jar of Vaseline to us, he's saying, you know what? He doesn't really care. He doesn't care if it's a bad deal for the other guy. He doesn't care if it's a good deal for the other guy. He doesn't care if it's a fair deal for anybody. He just wants a good deal for the United States. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I don't either. Yeah, that's the whole point of making a deal, is you look out for your own interest. If the other person doesn't like it, they don't have to agree to it. But for us to go into an agreement that's not going to benefit us, in any way, or at least in just a small way, as opposed to, letting someone else take more of our money, we're now, our trade deficit's going to get worse, or whatever the case might be. And now that's another thing, that I'm right there with Donald Trump. I'm right there with him on that one, is we need to make some changes in the way that we do trade with these countries, because we are just getting deeper and deeper in debt. I've been all over the world, and it's pretty rare that you go somewhere and see an American car. You know, they like our.
Cuba. Go to Cuba. You'll see all kinds of American cars. They're old, but there are all kinds of them.
they're all old, exactly, all old and rusty. But yeah, you know, it just doesn't. We don't. You know, people don't buy our. Maybe they buy maybe Apple computers. I don't know. Yeah. You know, but our electronics. You know, everything that we have in this country. You know, it comes from other countries, and you know, we're just not. We're not producing in a way that's beneficial to our country as far as our trade goes. We
don't make anything. We do not manufacture anything. At one time, you know, this country manufactured all kinds of different. We were the innovators, right? And then we decided, well, let's pay somebody else to do the innovation. We'll send this to China. We'll send it to Korea. We'll send it to Japan. Let them build it for us, even though we've created the innovation. And we have stopped being a country that builds and makes anything or produces anything. We're now a consumer nation, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, we are. Is exactly what it is. We are a consumer nation, and you know what we produce is you know something that's not of great value to other countries. And I think probably the last time that we ever were a great producer, I think was probably maybe when we did. I don't know, during our steel days. You know, I don't even know what it was that we used to produce. It's other than you know weapons of war weapons, you know, like airplanes and those types of things.
Yeah, well, we produced technology. We produced technology. We didn't produce anything. I mean, when you think about the world, the global economy and the global markets, the United States produces technology and then either sells it or gives it away for somebody else to produce the goods. I mean, all Apple's products are made in China, for God's sakes. They're not made here. Why not? They certainly charge enough for the phones.
Yeah, well, because of labor. That's why.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, but no, it's all about profit margin. And you know what? And here's the thing, I have mixed emotions about it, because the truth is corporations were created to make a profit for their stockholders. That's what it's all about. And so if you can get, instead of paying somebody $40 or $50 an hour here to assemble those iPhones, they pay somebody 55 cents an hour in China to do it. It's cost effective and it adds to their bottom line. I understand that. I really do. You know, but then there's a part of me that says, how about being proud of what you actually make in America? If we made it and kept that technology here, other countries would have to buy that from us. And even though the margins are smaller, it's sort of like a grocery store concept or a Costco concept or any of those kinds of things. You work on a smaller margin, you work on volume. And if you were able to increase your world trade value, then the volume makes up the difference for the margin.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and I'm like you said, you know, I'm kind of mixed on this as well, because it's great. You know, this obviously is benefiting the workers, because you have, you know, obviously there's, you know, two people engaged in, you know, the person that's producing and the person, you know, the worker that's actually doing the work producing a product, and then there's the consumer. And you know, so we obviously want to benefit our consumers as well as our workers, and I think that's, you know, people talk about, oh, you know, we want $15 an hour minimum wage, and we want this and we want that, and you know, people go on strike because they want more, you know, whatever it might be, healthcare or whatever their issue is at the time, better working conditions, and not all that stuff costs money, and that is going to be passed on to the consumer, and so, you know, it's like, where do you draw the line? Yeah, you know, I would love for everything to be built in America, but I also like to know that I can buy something and not pay an arm and a leg for it. You know, that's kind of the way it is. Unfortunately, with the United States, is we pay very high labor costs here.
Yeah.
And that's going to get passed on to the consumer. So the benefit of having, you know, this trade deficit is that for the consumer, we're able to get, you know, our products at a cheaper price. The unfortunate downside here too is most stuff nowadays is made to be disposable, and that just blows my mind. You know, people don't go out buying something. Oh gosh, you know, I'm going to keep this for 50 years. You know, maybe they do. Maybe every once in a while they go spend a lot of money on a nice.
But isn't that a good marketing ploy? If you make it disposable, people have to continue buying it, right?
Oh yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
you may not be old enough, but I remember, when I was a young boy, telephones I think were made out of steel. For God's sakes, they were certainly metal. They were heavy, and you couldn't break them. You could throw them across the wall; it wouldn't hurt them. They wouldn't break down. It was unbelievable. You had a phone for life. You never had to replace that thing because you didn't buy the phone. It belonged to, at that time, General Telephone, and then all of a sudden AT&T and all the rest of this stuff, and Verizon, but before the split up. But then all of a sudden came out these Starlight phones, these fancy phones. If you wanted one, you had to buy it, or you had to pay extra for it. And this whole new thing came out, and now all of a sudden, it's unique if you even have a home phone. Everybody's got their own cell phones now, because you know what? If the phone rings, it's my cell phone. I know it's for me. It's not for my wife, right? So everybody's got their own phone, and the downside, upside and downside, is they can get me 24/7. I'm not sure I like that. No matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, if I'm out on my walk, my phone can ring in my back pocket.
Yeah, that it's funny how people have come to expect you to answer the phone. I remember this is years ago. I had well, not that many years ago actually, but I was just separated. I was dating this gal, and she sent me a text message about something, and it took me like 15 minutes to get back to her. Oh my gosh, she was just like, "Well, it took you so long to get back." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, or maybe it took me, it took me more than 15 minutes, it took me like 30, 40 minutes, something like that. But anyway, the point is, it wasn't like, I disregarded it or whatever, and there was an issue. And I said, let me explain something to you. I said, I know that, we live in this world now where everybody wants instant access, but, not all of us lived our whole life like that. And it's okay to not get an immediate response. Sean,
if you probably look at the text and it doesn't require an immediate response, you can deal with it later and go on with your life for the day.
Yeah, that's the beauty of text messaging, is it doesn't, maybe something, if you're trying to coordinate, hey, I'm trying, we're out, like a mall or something like that. Hey, I'm ready for dinner. Where are you? I can't find you. Whatever. That's great.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm in your neck of the woods. I'm going to have dinner at XYZ restaurant. You want to join me? You're not going to make me wait 3 hours to say no.
Right, exactly. So for that, it's nice. Yeah. But it's. I mean, even in the military, these guys are deployed overseas, and they're texting and they're emailing, and they've got instant, constant, access and communication. I remember when I was in Desert Storm, we wrote mail letters, actual paper letter, and it would take, a week or so to get there, and then they get the reply back, and, so it'd be like 2 weeks before I got a reply back to my question. And we had, in the middle of the compound where we lived, and there was hundreds of guys, men and women, and there was a tent in the middle of the compound, and it was a pretty big tent, but on opposite corners of the tent, you walked in, there was the only thing in the whole tent was on opposite corners. In each one of the corners, there was a chair, a clipboard with a list of names on it and times, and there was a phone. And you were allowed to have 2 15-minute blocks per week to use the phone. And the phone was only for incoming calls. You couldn't make a call going out with that phone. Oh. So you had to coordinate with your family. Look, you can call me Thursday at, 6:30 your time, and I'll be standing by the phone. And of course, when that dude's 15 minutes is up, they're still talking like, hey, buddy, my family's calling. You have to hang up, because there's someone right behind you. Yeah. Those phones were in constant use. And, that's just the way it was. And nowadays, we act like, it's almost an unhealthy obsession with communication. Communication is important.
But in Desert Storm, I thought it was happening there too. Weren't a lot of guys, they were taking their laptops over there, and at least they were doing internet calls, so they didn't cost them anything, and they could actually see their family on the other side. Am I mistaken that was taking place too?
Oh yeah. People are Skyping, they're FaceTiming, whatever the app is that they're using. So yeah, they can actually there's the kids. Hey, look, there's little Johnny running around playing, and So it's such a different world. In fact, there was a buddy of mine who was a contractor out here in Kansas, and he was in some rural part of Kansas, didn't have a signal. There's still places in this country where you can't get a signal when you're out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of farmland. And he finally was driving back towards Wichita, gets a signal, boom, he's got a bunch of voicemails, right? And first voicemail was, hey, just trying to get a hold of you. I want to ask you some questions about this, this job, right? And then the next message from the guy is, hey, I'm still waiting to hear back from you. The next message is, I'm not sure why you can't return my calls, but I really need to talk to you. And then the next message is, look, if this is the kind of communication we're going to have, then I really think I need to go find someone else to do business with. And this is all in a matter of just a few hours.
Yeah.
He's like, look, see, I'm the kind of person that if someone had done that to me, I would have called him up and I said, you know what, you do need to go find someone else to do business with, because I don't tolerate that kind of impatience. I just wouldn't, I wouldn't work. I fire clients of mine. I've done it before. I go, you know what, your communication sucks. You're too demanding. You're too high maintenance. I don't need your money enough for you to treat me that way. But it's unbelievable to think that a grown adult will lose their mind over someone not being able to call them back within a few hours. It's like, give it a day. Nothing. This is construction. This isn't an emergency room, doctor. So it's funny to me how we have this, and like I said, it's an unhealthy obsession with instant communication and constant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Say, listen, we've got to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the very first fatality. A Tesla driver was killed using Tesla's car's autopilot. So I'll tell you all about that, and then we can discuss it. Okay? All right, we'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. Don't go away. We've got a lot of great stuff for you.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy, Sean LaFave from Wichita, Kansas. Well, he's not from Wichita, Kansas. Maybe he is from Wichita, Kansas. I don't know where he's from. He's been so damn many places. I can't keep track anymore, but I know he lives right here in sunny Southern California. And he's.
I was born down the street from you. I was born in Encino.
Oh.
I tell everybody I'm an Encino man.
When are you coming home?
Well, actually, that's an interesting story. I am going to be home.
You're defecting
on Sunday.
You're defecting.
What's that?
You're defecting.
I'm defecting. No, I am not defecting.
Oh.
I am going to take a hiatus from California. Unfortunately, I actually just worked out a deal with a doctor here in Wichita.
You took the deal.
I took the deal, so I am going to be here for a few months. I am not moving. I'm still keeping my place in California. I'm still going to work on my online business, but I'll also be working at helping this physician with her practice here in Wichita. She's got a good practice; it's solid. She's just having some personal issues and some just kind of life. It's one of those things that when life things in life start going great, they tend to pile up, and all of a sudden it becomes a little overwhelming, and you really need someone to kind of help you carry the load.
Yeah.
And so she asked me if I would come in and help her kind of get things a little bit straightened up in the business and to where she can actually take a step back. And so I'm going to be going in and helping her kind of get things a little bit more organized, get the office to where it is no longer dependent on her, that we can bring in the right kind of people to work the office. And so
when are you going to start? You're going to come back. This is a horrible weekend to come back. You're coming back on a holiday weekend. You're going to hit all kinds of traffic. But how long will you be here before you have to move back?
Oh yeah, I'll be home for just about a week. That's it. Not very long.
Mm.
So yeah, you're right. I know it's going to suck driving over the weekend, but you got to do what you got to do. So yeah, I'll be back in California for about a week, and then I am from California. By the way, I graduated from Simi Valley High School, and I've lived mostly growing up around the northern part of the LA area, Ventura County area. But yeah, I'll be back home in California for about a week, and then I'll be out here for I don't know how long, 3 months. I'm guessing maybe a little bit more. It depends on how long it takes to get everything going. But and I imagine I'll probably get on Allegiant or something like that once in a while, and maybe go home for a few days at a time, weekend here and there or so. But,
yeah.
And I tell you what, as much as I'm excited to help her with this business,
mm-hmm.
and help her build it, and it's exciting for me because it's kind of like the business that I built here in Wichita before. So it's going to be a very similar type structure. So that part of it is kind of neat. I'm going to be doing something I've done before, and I really, really, absolutely enjoyed. It was probably the best time of my life. Was every day waking up going, now I get to go into work again and do this. Because it was awesome. But as much as I'm looking forward to that, I'm really not looking forward to being in Wichita for the rest of the summer, because it's hot and it gets humid and there's bugs, and I like being able to go sit outside in the evening and not get eaten alive. And here, in fact, my buddy, he showed me he had these bug bites like right on his waistline. He's like, what are these? And I go, those are chigger bites. He's like, oh, I go, they itch crazy, don't they? He's like, oh my God, they're terrible. I said, yeah. I said, chigger bites are no fun. I don't know how he never got a chigger bite out here before, because he's living here for a lot longer than I have. And anyway, but so there's bugs, and it's just it's Kansas.
Yeah.
However, I do like that little airport it's called Stearman Field out in Benton, Kansas, and so I'll be spending a lot of time out there. That's my happy place here in Kansas.
Well, you know what? There's an awful lot to be said. Building something that needs to be corrected and fixed up, and giving some relief to somebody you care about. I think that all of that can be quite rewarding, and it's only for the short term. You're talking about 3 months or so, and so I'm thinking that you're probably going to really love the 3 months you're there. Just don't forget what it's like in California.
Oh yeah, no, I won't forget what California is like, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to like you said, building that business, making it better. And that's something, it's funny. People ask me, how I got into doing what I do, and I for a long time I said, I just kind of through association, really, I knew the right people, and I kind of fell into it, and it just worked out this way, and I really enjoyed it. But I don't know, this is probably about a year or two ago that I sat down and I was really kind of like pondering that question, because I was at a crossroads where I really wasn't sure, do I want to continue doing this? Do I want to pursue something else? What is it about this, working with people and helping them get their health back? What is it about it that I seem to find it impossible to walk away from? There's as frustrating as it can be. There's definitely challenges involved with it, and on. But like you said, the rewards are great. And I started really just kind of like backtracking, kind of my whole life. And I said, what? There was a time when my dreams were very different than what I'm doing. In fact, when I was in the Air Force, I actually wanted to get out, go to Cal Poly up in San Luis Obispo and get a forestry degree and go be a forest ranger. So that couldn't be any more different than what I'm doing. Yeah. But I started thinking about it, and I said, when I was a kid, I used to love to build things, and I was at one point when I was a member of this Model of the Month club, and they would send these little plastic models. They weren't very big or very fancy, but it was like a car or a boat or plane or something like that. So I would build these plastic models, and I really enjoyed that. And I eventually went on. I started building those model rockets, the ones that have a little solid fuel motor in them that they'd shoot up in the air. And I really got into that a lot, and I would make my own designs. First I would build the kits, and then I started going, okay, well, I'll make my own that looks like this, and I started designing my own rockets, and then I got a motorcycle, and I learned how to work on my motorcycle. I could, tear it down and fix whatever was broken on it. And in fact, when you had a dirt bike, it was it was a Yamaha YZ80. And, when you crash a lot when you're doing off-road riding, so you got to learn how to fix things. And, and then I got a car and I learned how to work on that. I could actually take the motor and strip it down to the short block and completely rebuild it. I could, put in new, every piston.
Well, I was a little bit different than you. I could dismantle anything. I just couldn't put it back together again.
That's the trick, is that when you get it put back together, you're like, look, I must be better than them because there's still 4 parts left over. And looks great.
Doesn't that scare the hell out of you? Where did these parts go?
I think the people that put cars back together like that, I think those are the ones that go on to become medical doctors. Like, you don't need that part. We'll just take it right out. But so my whole life I've really enjoyed building things and taking things and making them better. And really, what I do with people is no different than what I used to do with my car or my motorcycle or building these things. I would take something and understand how it worked, and then make sure that it was running the way it's supposed to be running. I did that with my motorcycles and with my car and cars. In fact, I just yesterday, a friend's daughter was her car started overheating, and she called me, and I said, "Well, it sounds like your radiator fan died on you." She's like, "Well, it gets hot when I'm sitting still, but when I'm driving down the freeway, it cools down." I said, "Well, your cooling fan." Ended up, she had 2 cooling fans, and they both died. One just like about 2 weeks apart from each other, so she's overheating. And so I spent the day ripping her car apart, and it's an Acura, so it's a little bit more difficult than these old, like those old 1960s cars.
Oh, yeah.
And so I ripped that apart and got new fans and, put those in, and it felt good. And she's super happy. She's like, oh my gosh, my air conditioner is blowing even colder now than it was before, and on and on and on. So, I'm a superhero. And I probably saved her $500 or $600 in labor, by doing it myself. And, and it's something that I enjoy doing, but when it comes to people, I get that same sort of gratification. That's why I do what I do is I love building things. So even helping this doctor, build her office, which is really going to get her life back. There's a certain gratitude that goes along with that as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you know what? I think it's terrific, and we certainly wish you all the best and the luck in the world doing that. Just don't forget that you still have to call in here twice a week.
Yep. It's just the time change stays the same for you. It's just going to change for me.
Okay.
It's weird.
Hey,
I know it's just so weird. Every day I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 3:30. I'm like, no, you're going to go on at 5:30 now.
Hey, listen, I want to talk to you for a minute about this deal. This actually came in 44 minutes ago. A Tesla driver is killed in a crash while using the car's autopilot. Now, it's absolutely the very first U.S. fatality using self-driving technology, and it took place actually in May when the driver of a Tesla S sports car operating the vehicle's autopilot automated driving system died after a collision with a truck in Florida, and so they're actually just reporting it today. Now, in this case, the government's investigating the design and performance of the Tesla system. It says that this truck went through, pulled in front of this car. There was no turn signal, no nothing, and the car just didn't stop.
Yeah, it's I can't imagine that there's any perfect system of any type of machine at all. So, a guy obviously wasn't paying attention. He
the driver of the truck and the guy, the autopilot, the idiot behind the guy behind the wheel should have been looking where the hell he was. He should have been looking where the hell he was going and hit the brake.
He's probably says, hey, I'm on autopilot. I'll check Facebook. Text my friends. I don't have to look. And it could be that he's driven the car thousands of miles like that and didn't have a problem, because I know that technology exists. You can get on the freeway and click it, and it's got all these sensors and Teslas. There's a lot of Teslas out in California, and and so the technology's there, but the thing that people, I think, you get used to it, you get comfortable with it, and all of a sudden, something happens. Maybe the truck that he hit, was kind of blended in with the sky or the background, and so the system didn't recognize it as a vehicle. It's something you think of hitting the 18-wheeler. It's just a big square box. So maybe it's just the technology didn't recognize it as something that stood out, as a contrast to the background. Maybe it was a cloudy day, or I don't know the details, but there's going to be a failure in any system, and it boils down to, it's the responsibility of the driver. Period.
Sure it is. Sure it is. And Tesla, you can bet Tesla is going to do their own investigation. Elon Musk just wants perfection. So I'm sure that he's very much concerned about this thing. So in any event,
I'm sure they're going to.
In any event, we've got the holiday coming up. You got any things? Are you going to continue your barbecuing, or you got special plans for the 4th? What's going on?
I don't actually have any set plans. I will be back in California, and I was invited to a party for July 4th. So I might go out and go hang out to do that, with some friends, before I leave. But I don't have a set agenda at all. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be home on the 4th, but it looks like at this point I am going to be home on the 4th. So yeah, but I don't have I'll probably be, it'll probably be a blend of, obviously I'm going to be driving out there on the 2nd and 3rd. Yeah. And then the 4th, from that, for the rest of that week, it's going to be a blend of a little bit of fun, hanging out with some friends to say, hey, I won't see you for a few months. And, and then a lot of getting my stuff organized, trying to figure out what smaller version of my stuff I need to actually take to Kansas with me for more than just a,
So is your son going to stay in your place, or are you going to rent it out for 3 months? What are you going to do?
No, he's just he'll be by himself. Oh. I thought about maybe looking to see if he wanted to get a roommate.
He'll probably wind up having a roommate, but and she's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Well, she is beautiful, and trust me, he's got a girl. I told you about his girlfriend, right? From the one from Brazil.
Well, yes, you did, but you don't get to tell me about it today because we actually are going to have to go on our break and say sayonara. But what are we talking about on Tuesday?
Oh gosh,
I'll come up with something. You're going to be busy driving. You'll be busy driving. I'll send you stuff over the weekend. Stay safe. Keep your eyes on the road. Stay safe. Make everybody happy that they're around you. And I look forward to talking to you next week. Maybe you and I can get together for lunch or something next week.
That would be, that'd be a great idea because I shouldn't be driving far from you. But we'll stay in touch on that.
All right.
Thanks, Robert.
All right, buddy. You take care. The rest of you folks, do not go away because when we come back, we'll be doing the birthdays of the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 92 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 97 on its way to 63. But if you're listening to us from our global syndicated network and you're in Rome, Italy, it's 70 degrees and it's clear. It's also tomorrow, by the way. And if you're in London, it's 63 degrees and mostly cloudy. And that's what's going on there. Now, I want you to stay tuned because coming up next is going to be our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today, the title is Hello, Sucker. Well, right now, though, it's time for our Harvard Business Tip of the Day. And the management tip today is the best way to solve recurring work problems. So here's the deal. Problems at work tend to be repetitive. No one complains because their boss was angry one time or a colleague failed to pitch in once. The next time you're in a familiar, noxious work setting where someone is doing the same thing as usual, try something different. Improvise, break the routine. For example, if you have an employee who's chronically late to meetings and reprimanding her in the past hasn't solved the problem, the next time she's late, stop the meeting and praise her for all that she's doing right. Everyone will be caught off guard, and it may actually resolve the problem once and for all. By introducing an unfamiliar dynamic, you encourage your counterpart to respond differently in turn. Well, hopefully that'll work. It's questionable. Well, talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. It's all about a positive mental attitude. You decide whether you're going to be happy, sad, rich, poor, success, or a failure, or the people around you are going to be happy too. You decide that when you get up in the morning. You decide when you look in the mirror. You know what? Do an attitude adjustment. You control your life. Well, our quote for today comes from W. Clement Stone. He was born in 1902, died in 2002. And he says, whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. Now, isn't that something from a 100-year-old man? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what today is. It's that time again. It's Thursday, June the 30th, and it is somebody's birthday. Well, we don't have a lot of birthdays today, but we do have, enough, that's for sure. And here's a fellow that you may or may not know. He was born in 1979, Vincent D'Onofrio, and he was on the series Law and Order, and he's done a lot of other things. A great actor, and has been in so many different things. Also, here's somebody born in 1979, an American Hasidic Jewish reggae musician, Matisyahu, born in 1979. And finally, Fantasia Barrino was born today also. And unfortunately, I don't even know who the heck that is. I don't know why they even put it here for me to read, because I don't even know who it is. Now, here's what's going on in history, right? On June the 30th, 1905, Albert Einstein publishes the article on the electrodynamics of moving bodies, in which he introduces special relativity. Wow. Can you imagine this man? They say he only used 8% of his brain. I guess that means we're not using any of ours. How about this? 1906, the United States Congress passes the Meat Inspection Act and Pure Food Drug Act. And then in 1953, the first Chevrolet Corvette rolls off the assembly line in Flint, Michigan. And boy, Flint's having some problems, water problems now. Hopefully somebody will wake up and fix that for him. Anyway, finally, in 2002, Brazil wins the FIFA World Cup for a record 5th time. And our quote for today comes from somebody, maybe you do, maybe you don't know, a really famous guy, Ray Bradbury. And he says, you have to know how to accept rejection and reject acceptance. You need to know how to accept rejection and reject acceptance. Boy, isn't that something? Yeah. Well, it is time for our interesting but useless facts. We got a number of them. This first one's a long one, actually. There have been several documented cases of women giving birth to twins who had different fathers, including cases where the children were of different races. Now, to do so, the mother had to have conceived both children in close proximity. There has also been one recent case where a mother gave birth to unrelated twins. In that instance, the mother underwent in vitro fertilization and had her own child and the embryo of another couple accidentally implanted in her. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, did you know that ichthyophobia is the fear of fish? Did you care? Why can't they just say he's got the fear of fish? Makes sense to me. Did you know that toward the end of her life, Sarah Bernhardt had a wooden leg and often wore it on stage? The divine Sarah slept in a coffin, owned her own railroad car, and played Juliet when she was 70 years of age. Isn't that something? Well, did you know that you can get rid of your hiccups by holding your breath and swallowing 3 times? I wonder. I'll try it. I haven't had, you know what? I haven't had hiccups in a long time. I don't know about you, but hold your breath and swallow 3 times. See if it works. What do you got to lose? Did you know that 57% have had deja vu? 50% of the world. Yeah. And you forget 90% of your dreams. Well, I can attest to that. I don't remember any of them. You know, polar bears are the only mammal with hair on the soles of its feet. Did you know that in medieval times, medieval England, beer was often served with breakfast? That doesn't sound like too bad an idea. Well, finally, on eBay, there are an average of $480 worth of transactions each second. Now that is really something. Now don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be doing our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And today's story is, hey, hello, sucker. We'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400 4900, or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And it's time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. He's the biggest and best voice in America, reveals the startling heartbeats behind the headlines. Our story for today is Hello, Sucker. Let's get to it. Meet Mary Louise. She was born in Waco, Texas in 1884. Her father was a wholesale grocer, both parents Irish immigrants. By the age of 14, talented Mary Louise began studying voice in Chicago and subsequently became a traveling performer. City to city, stage companies, rodeos. In 1904, she met and married a Denver newspaperman. The marriage would not last, nor would her third. For little Mary Louise had her eye on New York in the big time. Soon she became the woman that you know, the bright touch, roustabout of nightclub, stage, and silent screen, Mary Louise Cecilia. Texas Guinan. Once on stage in New York City, Mary Guinan rose quickly from the ranks of the chorus, one good musical comedy role followed by another better one. In 1908, Mary was on the vaudeville circuit, billed as the Gibson Girl. There she belted ballads from a basket suspended above the audience. The year 1913 brought a successful review, The Passing Show. World War I took Mary behind the lines in France to entertain the troops. It was perhaps in silent films that Mary first hammered out the image of Texas Guinan. Soon, pictures as the gun woman, the Little Miss Deputy. For the aggressive self-reliance Mary dramatized on screen forged the character of a new woman. Brash, capable, ready and willing to meet the male world on its own terms. That was the role Texas Guinan carried into the nightclubs and the lounges, the speakeasies of Prohibition era. She became the lusty performer hostess, a white-hot neon doll glowing through a stale haze of cigar smoke, a husky, dusky reflection in a pool of illegal booze. Texas Guinan, her trade, trading insults. Her greeting, hello, sucker. The El Fay Club opened in 1924. Texas Guinan perched atop a tall stool, gibbling with the socialites and the racketeers. They were her court, her reign, her thorn, her subjects. The El Fay raided closed. The Del Fay opened 2 blocks away. The Texas Guinan Club, the 300 Club, the Club in Time, Texas Guinan Salon Royale, each in succession. An itinerant kingdom uprooted at the shriek of a police whistle. Give the little girl a great big hand, and they gave her a hand. But newsman Lowell Thomas remembers another Texas Guinan from many years before, a young woman named Mary. That's right, in Anaconda, Montana. When Thomas was 12, he had a crush on a vivacious blonde named Mary Guinan. Lowell never told his folks about the infatuation, but as the years rolled by, he watched that gleaming star from his childhood ascend and take its place in the midnight sky. For the little girl from Waco who rode the road shows to New York City, the brash blonde who bombarded the Big Apple, belting ballads from a swinging basket, the speakeasy mistress of ceremonies who blazed a brazen trail across the Prohibition era, Texas Guinan, Lowell Thomas remembers as his school teacher, his Sunday school teacher. And now you know the rest of the story. Isn't that interesting? The late, great Paul Harvey. What a guy. Did you know Paul Harvey is one of America's favorite radio and TV commentators. He's heard in over 775 ABC radio stations and over 400 foreign stations. He's seen on 110 television stations and read in 300 newspapers. He was the recipient of numerous awards and honors, including 9 honorary degrees. He's on the Gallup's polls list of America's most admired men. Wow. Wasn't he something? He was just unbelievable. Now, you don't want to miss our segment in tribute to Paul Harvey. We're going to do it every single day, Monday through Friday, a different story every day. And if you've missed one, you know what? Go to our archives. You can get it. The easiest way to do that is get our app. If you have a Windows product or an Android product, go to googleplay.com, search Robert Cardoza Live. And if you've got an Apple product, go to the Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live. The app is absolutely free. Download it. You can listen to us live if we're performing live like we are now, or you can listen to any of our archives, and you can certainly skip ahead, even though I don't want you to. You could skip ahead and listen to the rest of the story, our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. You'll be glad you did. And tell your friends about our show. Tell your friends about the tribute to the late great Paul Harvey, and tell them that they can get this app absolutely free to make their lives a lot easier for them. I'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And they'll appreciate it.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.